Man, I am so excited today, man. This is the day that I've been waiting on. Today I have, what do you say, music producer, musician, songwriter, record label exec, super producer who's produced for some of the, you name the list. He's touched so many different people, but at the end of the day, he's my brother. I'm so happy to have Warryn Campbell here with me today for the huddle. What's up,
My
Warryn?
man, how you doing, brother?
Man, it's a blessing just to get you here, man. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and, gracing me with your presence. But, when family calls,
I'm on the way.
yeah, and it, and
I'm
it
on the way.
and it goes both ways. Before I start the podcast, my thing is I want to ask people what was their thought of the day? What was their inspirational thought of the day? Something that came across their mind that somebody can be inspired from. Because I know, like, when I wake up, I always have to have something, a thought that sort of gets me throughout my day.
You know, I had the same thought every day, because when I wake up, I tell myself, "This is as good as it's gonna get. Today is the best day that you ever gonna get. I ain't worried about yesterday. I ain't worried about tomorrow. Right now, in this moment, this is the best life I got.
I love that, man. And make the most of
It's
it.
just like, man, and live it like this is like like the best there is. You know what I'm saying? That's every single day.
My mother said, every day you open two gifts is a blessing. And I would always say, Mom, what's those two gifts? And she said, your eyes.
Absolutely.
And when she said that, I was like, man, you just never think. I mean, a lot of times we think of gifts as something incredible or something like that, but we take for granted the smaller things in life.
Especially the older you get. I was just the other day. I was having breakfast with my bishop, my mentor, Bishop Kenneth Omer. He said he was going to do something. He said, man, but that's going to take me about 40 hours of research. He said, when you're 78 years old, 40 hours is completely different than when you in your 40s and 50s. He said, I ain't got 40 hours to be sitting around doing that. I said, oh, wow. He said, it's a whole nother thing.
It's crazy because time, the value of time. I think, and I think that's whatever stage you're in, you realize that you're closer. One of my friends said the other day, he said, man, if you double your 20s, you're in your 40s. You're fairly young. If you you get to your 30s, you double your 30s, you're in your 60s. You etching up there. But once you make it to your 40s and your 50s and you double them, man, you got more time behind you than you got in front of you. So you got to be careful with the days that you have, and you don't live them as risky as you did once you were
No.
younger.
I mean, and the thing is, I like to tell people this: you don't you don't know if you're old or young, because we judge or we look at our age by our birthday. But I say, you know what? You should look at it by your death day. Because if you're 25, but you're gonna die at 26, you old.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're 53 and you're gonna live to be 90, man, you're pretty young.
Only thing I think about that though is, in the era that we grew up in, growing up in South Central Los Angeles in a time where drugs was prevalent, and it was so many things that were set up against our survival. I don't know. I think that the fact that we made it to the age that we are, I don't like telling people my age, but the fact that we made
No.
it to this age, I think we didn't expect to live this long.
When they call you Uncle OG, that's a badge of honor because, listen, I'm thinking about the block I grew up on. It was like 8 or 9 of us kids on this side of the block of Normandy and 52nd. On this side of Normandy, we were just regular kids. Right across Normandy, all them kids over there was 5 Deuce Hoover Crip. It was crazy, and we had to encounter them all the time. All of those guys are dead, and consequently, just because we grew up in the neighborhood, only one guy that I grew up with on my side of the block is alive. Just me and him, just 2 guys. They weren't involved in none of that, but they were just in the way.
It's not even in the way. It just was. It's set
In the
up.
environment.
It's set up. I mean, I think about it like this: before I turned 20, I had so many obituaries of people that I went to school with that had transitioned. And then I never forget when I was a kid, my mother used to take me to her friend's house, and my mother was an educator, so I would go outside the hood and I would go to her friend's house. And while I'm in her friend's house, I'm playing with their kids, and we're the same age. We're about 10, 11, but I'm so far more advanced because of the place that I live and how I grew up they're playing with dolls and they're playing with toys and stuff like that. And I was like, they're weird. Like, why am I hanging with them? They're weird. But then looking back in hindsight, I was weird because life had pushed me to another thing. I grew up fast to where I wasn't that kid. And in turn, I tried to keep my daughter as a kid as long as I could.
Yeah.
Because, man, you got your whole life to grow up, man. Enjoy the times without responsibility.
Man, yeah, your youth is a vapor.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna look up, and I mean, I'm talking about a vapor, like that condensation from the shower in the mirror. By the time you dry off, it's gone.
It's gone.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you treat your youth precious, because you're never gonna get it again. You're gonna be a grown up way longer than you'll be a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I tell all my kids that, man, listen, if you knew what you have and how good you have it, like my kids are privileged, but what I did was I moved them in an area, and I have them different than my oldest. My oldest is 21. She's in Atlanta in the school and stuff like that, and she was sheltered. She was our first. But my two younger, they're 15 and 13. I put them on the bus, public school.
And they say it's age placement, you know, like
I made them do things that my oldest didn't get.
And your oldest, Krista, didn't get the same parents that her younger siblings got.
We were really sheltered, sheltering her. But the younger two, I was like, no, intentionally putting them in situations. Like my son, I'm like, no, you going to play, you playing football. 3 years, he played in Snoop's league. Like this one, you going over, you running track. I'm just really like, and then get on that. Like they were in junior high school. They was 11 and 13. I taught them how to take the bus.
Did you ride the bus with them?
The first time. The next time I was like,
I put Chase on the train, man, to go to Santa Monica College. She made it through high school without public transportation. I put her on the train to Santa Monica, and it's a straight shot from where I live. But she was like, Dad, I'm not used to this. So it's just funny. You're right. Your firstborn, you protect them. And then the younger ones, they get a different parent and a different experience in the same house.
And they become, like my oldest looks at her younger sister and goes like, man, if I had her boldness and her confidence when I was was in school, I'd be a different person. But
you learn, and you learn as you go. And I mean, at that time, you were busy chasing success, whereas at this place in life, the success is here. You just maintain it. You're doing maintenance now, so it's a different version of both of you. But starting this interview, I want to go back to, I was thinking of the PA, we grew up. So for those who don't know, me and Warryn, we grew up in the church. I'm Warren's, I wouldn't say big homie because we're I'm a few days ahead of him. I ain't that much. I'm a few days ahead of him. I'm not that much older than him.
This is your podcast. I'm gonna let you live.
I might be just a few days older than him. But Warryn, we grew up in the same area together. And the beautiful thing is we grew up in the church. Yeah. And in the church that we grew up in, it was like we were closer to our church family than we were a lot of our biological family, because we spent so much time with each other. Right. But for me, the time I remember, my etched in my head, my image of Warryn is we're in Oakland, California, and we're at the youth convention. We had this big youth convention where all the youth came together, and Warryn was in this group called Souls of Zion.
Souls of Zion.
And it was 4 individuals. It was Warryn, it was his sister Joy, it was the Cowan brothers.
Dewan and David, rest in peace, David.
And then Gramico came later?
Yeah, Gramico came later, we were like late in high school, 11th, 12th grade.
But Warryn was, he was 12 years old. How old were you when you first started playing your first instrument?
Oh, my first instrument, I was 3. I was the church drummer at 3 years old. I was in the band at the church.
No, but I mean, when you say church, you were playing for the children's church?
No. I was the church. I played for the choir. I had
for
gigs.
The adults at 3 years old.
Man, I had at 4 and 5, I had gigs. Like I would play at my church.
Man,
check this out, honey.
I've been knowing your whole life, man. At 3 years old, you on the drums. You can't even fit on the seat. So what you playing on?
They had the little folding chair. and then on night services, they would take me over to Leroy Chappelle's church.
Elder Chappelle, Uncle Leroy.
When they was on Adams.
Yeah, that was the late service.
I would play for them.
But you played for them at the night service that was cracking.
Yeah.
At 3 years old.
No. At that time I was like 5 or 6. Yep. I had like gigs. I would go play a Tower of Faith.
Well, I remember.
I would go play like they had me. I was like a little kid. I had drum gigs.
I remember the Prodigy. When was it that you understood that this came easy for you?
You know what? I'm still processing that because like when people ask me like, how do you play this instrument? Because I'm a multi-instrumentalist, which means I can play any instrument that I pick up because of the way I view it. Like music is literally 12 notes from C to B, 12 notes, right? And I mean, an instrument just only can play those 12 notes. That's it.
So if you know how
it's easy to me.
If you know how to move around within those 12 notes.
It's the physical mechanics of how the instrument works. Once you learn the physical mechanics of an instrument and how it works, how to physically work, then you go, oh, I can just play the instrument. But that's the way I see it.
It's funny. I remember when you were playing keyboards forever because I remember the keyboards when I don't remember Warryn the drummer. So
I played drums, then bass.
I remember you went from when you were on the bass. I remember when you were when you said you were going to pick up something else, and then you were transitioning, and you're like, I'm just going to pick it up. And within no time, you had it down. And that was keys. You went from bass to keys.
Yeah, I went from bass to keys.
I thought you went from keys to bass, but you went from bass to keys, but then back to bass.
Well, see, my dad was a bass player. So I grew up with a bass in my house. So I was always playing with the bass, like, you know, at home. Like my dad be at work, I'd be playing that bass for 3 hours. So I could play it. I could play bass way better than I could play keys. But just at church, you know, it wasn't a lot of opportunity. So like everybody had sticks, want to play the drums. So I'm like, all right, y'all do that. And then you had a bunch of guys playing bass. So I just played keys because it's like if I showed up to Emmanuel Temple, right, at the night service, Mother Stewart, she would see me walk in the door and be like, come here, because she'd be on the organ. She'd be like, come play. And so that was easier for me to get on. So I was just playing anything that was open. That
would give you playing time. Because I remember when we were kids, the drummers would be in line trying to play the drums, and it'd be some older dude that's like 40 years old, and he trying to get as much play, and the kids is just sitting up there mad at this dude for hogging up all the time.
Now you understand, because you remember like at your church, BT Trey.
Yeah, but Trey couldn't get on because Jason was ahead of him. Then it was dude named Chris Boykins. Then it was Larry Washington, who was the older dude that he wasn't trying to retire. That was his only thing in his life that he had that made him feel special was the fact that he could play the drums.
But
so he wasn't trying to give it up.
Trey is 4 or 5 years old, and actually
he was
a little bit better than everybody.
He was. I don't know if he was better than Jason because Jason was cold.
Jason was a bad boy.
Yeah, Jason was cold. Rest in peace. Jason was cold. And that's another one. So the crazy thing is, even with our childhood, not only were we losing people in the streets, but we were also losing people that were our friends in the church because it was a thin line a thin line of separation between the two. Speaking of that, when you were growing up, what kept you out of the streets? I know, like with me, it was like, I was more attracted to the strength that my friends in the street had than I were. The dudes in the church were like, you know, they were soft to me. Yeah. So like the dudes that I gravitated towards in the church were like the street dudes, and you know, outside of the streets were just so cool because our influences were our music. Mm-hmm. You know, at our time we were growing up with NWA.
Was it.
And DJ Quick. Yep. And I mean, it was just certain music that were the theme music of our lives. How was it that you were able to navigate to sort of stay out of the streets?
I don't know if I actually navigated out of it. I more so, you know, I merged the two a lot, you know what I'm saying, even inadvertently just by proximity because of where I grew up. And, you know, I was never, if you grew up in L.A. and you know about the gang culture, you know, I wasn't jumped in no gang, but all my friends was banging. So if something happened, we on 54th in Western, we had to stand in the McDonald's, and the dudes from Van Ness, Gangsta Bloods, come up.
You affiliated.
They scrapping.
Yeah, you affiliated.
I'm fighting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when the police come by, they don't know who's not.
Or when the enemy come by, you guilty by association. Because even if you never got jumped in, if you from that neighborhood, you from that neighborhood.
And I found out I was registered. Like they had at the police station. There was a police station on Dinker. They had all the people's names.
That's Southwest.
Yeah, my name is in the thing. Like it's being affiliated with.
Your name is in the book of life, but it started out in the book of Southwest Precinct. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, so you got that, but then also So I'm working on something right now. I'm working on a series called this is the first time I'm talking about it. Now I got to really do it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Called The Cheats. CHEETS. The Cheats. It's the church and the streets. It's basically about all of us, how we grew up. Like Monday through Saturday, man, we was in these streets.
Yeah.
Sunday, we out working our parents' churches, and we was involved in church, and then we'd leave church with our suits on, drive down Crenshaw. We'd go to the strip club and tell everybody, like, we go to various clubs. We got suits on. People thought we played football.
I never forget, with me, it was so different that I would go to Sunday school. And in between Sunday school and morning service, you had about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we would walk to the liquor store, but it was video games at the liquor store. But when we walked to the liquor store, we see dudes from the neighborhood that the church was at, which was a different neighborhood than where we were from.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, sometimes stuff would turn into something to where we're fighting in between the church, and then you go back to church and you got your shirt is
Y'all
dirty.
church in the hood.
Oh, yeah.
McKinley?
But we were fighting with the dudes from the neighborhood, and one time we got to a fight, and the dudes came walking into the service. They walked into the service because the guy told them that we were older, and some older dudes jumped on them. So these grown men coming to church thinking it was grown men, and they see us. They laughed at the dudes, and the next thing you know, them dudes they ended up coming to the church because they came for one reason, but like they say, you come in for one reason and you leave for another reason.
Those two things cross a lot. Like your church wasn't that far from mine. Yours was more east side.
Oh, yeah. We are east side.
McKinley and what?
It was 52nd and Wadsworth. It was right up between McKinley and Central.
And we was on 21st and Griffith.
Oh, yeah.
So a little
further east.
Yeah. So like, and then same thing, we'd be at the liquor store down the street. Hanging out, man. That was just.
It was a part of the culture. But
what is it? I don't think we escaped it. I think we outlived it and we survived it.
I think that we had a covering over our lives because
that's true.
God had a plan, but we had to have experiences so that we could identify with the people that our ministries would come in contact with. Because if we didn't, I know a lot of dudes. It was a preacher that I know that gets up at church and he says, "I've never touched any woman at this church, and I've been saved since I was a teenager." And I was like, man, that's cool, but at the same time, what about these dudes in the church that ain't been saved their whole life or haven't had a clean record? Like, how does that make them feel? And I think, to me, both testimonies are equally important of where God can keep you. But I don't know. It's powerful when they say, because I'm one of the ones that he's restored over and over and over again.
Man, it's like my dad. I told my dad, I said, "Hey, Dad, I'm about to ask my girlfriend to marry me." He said, "All right." He said, "Man, I told you. You know, when you knew it was going."
Wait. Okay. Now, I want you to repeat that, because for a second I thought I heard you say something, but I want you to say it again. You said you told Uncle Warryn what?
I told him that I was getting ready to ask Erica to marry me.
Oh, I thought you said something else. So I'm glad that you said that. I thought you said it was your friend's friend.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. So I'm telling him I'm about to get, I'm going to ask. He said, all right. He said, this is what he told me. He said, listen, when I met your mama, I was a virgin. He said, you ain't got that same testimony. I was like, correct. He said, man, I see all these girls.
How he know you didn't have that testimony, man?
Because
men be telling stories. Boys be telling stories about sexual conquest before they get to it.
Well, no, my dad just knew.
Your dad knew you.
He knew me, and he knew my grandfather. My dad's father was playboy.
So it's
genetic, and that's who I gravitated towards.
It's genetic. It was in the genes, and you got a personality.
And then plus,
because your father is more quiet. Your father is more low key.
He's low key.
He's the powerful man and the silent powerful man.
Yeah,
but you don't.
You do not want to get him mad, but he's like real cool. And I was more outgoing in terms of like just. I had my mom's personality in terms of I just was kind of a loud person in the room.
We same in that.
But then also, like, I remember one day I was giving away some shoes. I had all these shoes. My foot grew from an 8.5 to a 10.5, right? So I had all these shoes I was giving away. My dad was helping me take the shoes out. And I said, oh, shoot. So I went in the insert to take the insole out. I used to hide all my condoms. And so I have a whole wall full of shoes, and every shoe got a condom under the insole. So I'm taking
They
him out. My
still.
dad walked in, like, he said, what you, I was like, by
And
this time,
how old were you then?
19.
Yeah, that's
So I'm
funny.
like, Pop, yeah, he's like,
Boy, what's
what,
wrong with you?
Then he said, well, at least you using them.
Well, just because they in there don't mean you used them. that means you thought about it.
I used to hide them in my shoe because I didn't want them in my pockets.
Oh, no,
you know
you can't have it in your pocket because, I mean, you never know what's going to happen with your pockets. You can't do that.
Nah.
That's funny. So, look, tell me this. Now, you mentioned your wife, and I think that everybody's life has chapters, and I think one of the chapters that that happened in your life was your marriage to Erica.
Right.
And Eric, for those who don't know, Warren's wife is Grammy Award-winning gospel singer royalty is Erica Campbell.
One of the coldest.
She's in the group Mary Marian, and Erica is just like the dopest soul that you ever want to meet.
Yeah.
But how did that happen?
Man, well, first of all, I should say just how we grew up, PAW, she grew up Kojic.
Yeah, I remember because we remember them as kids. I remember
Yeah.
because they were cute girls when they were younger. They were younger, but they were popular and they were in their own right doing a whole bunch of stuff then.
Around the city.
Yeah.
And y'all knew who they were before I did.
Yeah.
So what happened was I saw her at a play.
And mind you, his wife is 6 sisters.
Yeah.
It's 6 sisters.
And
so
they all look kind of alike. They all
and then the
sing.
mother and father are like the coolest people. Their father, bless his soul,
Yeah.
was like my OG, and he was like one of those dudes that was in church. You had the men in the church, but you had the men's men in the church.
He was the
and their
man's
daddy
man.
was the man's man, to where he was the dude that, you look at him, you see he done been somewhere outside.
He got everybody lifting weights in the yard. He was that dude.
Andre, I mentored Andre, the
His
nephew,
yeah.
and Andre to this day always talks about the impression that he left on him. But how did it happen with the connection with Erica? Because, I mean, on one side, Erica was one of the hottest females in our circle in the city at that time. But then also, you were the up and coming. That was the dude that, before Erica, you had some choices. You had some choices. But how did it come together? Because sometimes when two people, usually it's a lesser than and a greater than.
Oh, yeah.
How was it that
I looked at it like this. Like, when I seen her, first of all, I recognized her. I was like, it was at a play. I was in.
It wasn't that Michael. It was that Mike Matthews when she was with Michael Matthews.
It was a Mike Matthews play.
Yeah.
And I was there with another chick that I was messing with. I was dating this girl from Clifton Edwards Church, another friend of ours.
Oh, wow.
Out in Antelope Valley. When he was out there.
Then he moved already.
Yeah, so I was out there. I was playing at his church, and I met this girl there. We was hanging out. I took her to this play. I go to the play.
You went to the play because you knew some of the musicians that were in the play?
I knew. I had just met Eric Dawkins and my brother Teddy Campbell. I was on the road. I was already doing my thing in music. I was on the road playing keyboards with Brandy. We're on tour with Boys and Men and Babyface, right? Mm-hmm. And we landed in Milwaukee.
How old are you at this time?
I'm 18, 19.
18, 19.
And so we're in Milwaukee.
And at 18, 19, you're playing...
I'm playing keys. We're on an arena tour with Boys and Men and Babyface and Brandy.
And when you say arena tour, for people that don't know, that's like 20,000 and up.
Yeah, 20,000 a night.
15 to 20 up.
Yeah, screaming kids every night, right?
Yeah.
We get to Milwaukee. Check this out. You're gonna trip off of this. We get to Milwaukee. I'm, in my hotel room. My phone rings in the room. And this dude named Champ, Ira Champ,
one of the greatest,
one of the keyboard players, cat I know from our church, our PAW. He said, "Warren, it's Champ." I said, "Champ, man, how you contacting me here?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm here in Milwaukee." Well, everybody knew, if you in PAW, you know what certain people is doing. Like everybody knew I was doing.
And this is before internet. This is before social media. This is before any of this. People just know where people are. Yeah.
They know I'm doing Brandy. They know Gerald Hatton is doing Aaliyah.
And Gerald Hayward is doing Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, everybody knows what everybody doing. So, and so he calls my phone. He says, "Man, I'm in Milwaukee. I heard the Brandy people was here." So I said, "Let me see if Warren here." He said, "Is Warryn Campbell?" He got my room. I said, "Man," he said, "I'm down here with Eric Dawkins." I said, "Eric Dawkins? From Dawkins and Dawkins?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Come downstairs." I go downstairs. I meet Eric Dawkins, and he introduced me to a guy named Teddy Campbell.
Oh, wow.
Now, we all in the hotel
And who was
lobby.
Teddy? Teddy was with the play.
He was with the play.
Both of them were with the play.
Both of them, all of them was with the play. The play got like Howard Hewitt, Melba Moore.
I remember the name of the play, too, because I went to that play because my boy Todd Neal was over that play.
Yep.
Todd was doing something in that play.
It was called Mama, I'm Sorry.
Mama, I'm Sorry. And it was a huge play. And this dude, Michael Matthew, was Tyler Perry before Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he set the stage on how to get rich off of those plays.
He was doing well, and so our two tours collided in this one hotel. So we're talking, and way on the other side of the lobby, I see these two light-skinned chicks walking toward the elevators. I said, wait, I know them. Now, my man who was with me, who was the drummer with us, his name was D-Loke.
Oh, that's my boy D-Loke.
Yeah,
my
shout
guy.
out to Loke.
Yeah.
Long Beach in the house. And so Loke was with me. He's like, oh, I know them. I said, I know them. That's the girls with the sister. He said, oh, yeah, that's Eric and Tina. And Teddy says, oh, man, yeah, they stuck up, man. They don't talk to nobody. They little church girls. They don't talk to nobody. That kind of thing. But I remember seeing them there. We left and all that. We all met.
Oh, so you never introduced yourself or anything?
Not there, nah. Matter of fact, she was engaged to a dude that lived in Milwaukee.
So she was there seeing somebody she was engaged to.
Yeah, she
was
was
he
with
a
the play.
church dude or was he a musician?
Church dude.
Musician?
Nah, not a musician. Just
like a preacher?
Nah, I don't think he was a preacher. His daddy was a preacher.
Oh, so
I think he was just he was just like, church
regular
cat.
dude, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I didn't know her at all then, but, I found all this out later. But so now she, we go to L.A., I done met all them dudes. I get a call from Eric Dawkins saying the play's coming to L.A. You want some tickets? Yeah. So I brought the girl with me. When I get to the play, I'm watching it, and then Erica comes on stage. Tina's in the play as well, but for some reason she wasn't there that day. She was doing something else. She was sick. I don't know what was going on. So anyway, I'm like, yo, when I saw her come on the stage and sing and act, do what she was doing, that was it. I was like, yo, who was? Whew. So that
the Lord
was
is my shepherd. I see what I want.
so that's December 1995. That end of that week was December 9th, which was my dad's birthday. So I said, Dad, I'm gonna take you to a play for your birthday. I went back to the play and left the old girl at home.
Yeah.
After the play, I said, told Eric, man, introduce me to the, So he introduced me. I talked to her for a minute, and then that week she came to the crib. He stayed in my house for a week. We worked on music. She came to the crib, but she brought her sister Tina with her. That's when I met both of them. Found out they could sing, and then we had our first date.
So Eric went back and told them that you were a musician and a producer, and you were doing stuff. So then he brought them to the house for you to meet to hang out with them. Oh, that's dope.
Come to the house.
So Eric really was your wingman. He kind of made it happen.
Well, actually, what happened was he was at my house, and I kept talking about it. He was like, "Man, I got the pager number." That's when we had pager. He was like, "I could page her, tell her and her sister to come sing on something." I was like, "All right, cool." And so they did that, and then we met. And that month, December 22nd, 1995, we went on our first date, which was the opening of Waiting to Exhale, which we just celebrated 30 years of that. So we had a little moment at home where we watched it by ourselves just at the crib,
I love that.
So that's how it started, and the rest.
But tell me this: so the fact that it happened when you saw her on that stage perform for the first time, was it something in you that not only just told you that you had to have her, but did you think it was a powerful connection if you could connect with her? Did you see something in the connection as well as just the love at first sight or the passion because she's pretty? So did you, outside of the passion, did you think, not even in that time, but when you first got with her, that it could be something that could be bigger than just a relationship? Like you could really do the things that you all have achieved?
Over time that developed, but at first,
You're young.
I'm 19, 20, so it's like, she's fine, she's bad. And then the more I got to know her, I'm like, no, she's not just bad. Like, she got an amazing personality. She's her heart, the way she is. Like, she ain't no girl. She's a woman.
She's like, I always tell people, my mother and your mother, they never meet a stranger.
Right.
You meet people like, hey, how you doing? And
her personality is just like a warm hug. Like everybody's just kind of, and that's who she. I saw.
And you like warm
my
hugs.
Mother.
And you love warm hugs.
I love your warm hug, brother. Yeah. I ain't never met a warm hug I didn't like.
Pause, man. Don't say that, man. I'm sure
a warm female hug. No, but I saw in her, I saw my mom in
And they
certain
say
ways.
most men are attracted to women that are similar to their mother, and I see that.
Just
And,
nurturing, cooking, the whole
yeah.
nine. Like she's a,
And
you
attentive.
know,
The thing about say
yeah.
about your mother, man, your mother is a person that she'll sit back and she pays attention. Nothing goes past her. And
She gonna look at you and say, "What's
oh yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
wrong with
And
you?"
she gonna see something picking at you. And but the funny is she's so transparent that when something's picking at her, you can see it on her as well.
All day, all day long.
She's so transparent. But what point was it during the marriage that you saw that oh my God, like I think this is God's hand working in this to where it's bigger than our relationship. It's something that has the potential to be great.
Probably when I didn't realize that about us until I almost lost her. So you thinking about this, when you're young and you're on the road and you're a millionaire by the time you're 22 and you out here, you just man, this like I got options, I got stuff happening, right? So for me to slow my life
A
down,
millionaire by 22.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I was trying to slow my life down, and I got married at 24. I got engaged at 23, married at 25. I still had a lot of residual things happening, you know what I'm saying, that I was trying to kind of get out of, but like, just, I'm still having fun.
What production hits did you have before
I got married?
you got married?
Oh, I mean, shoot, a lot.
I'm not mad at you, Tupac.
Well, yeah, I had done a bunch of stuff like that. Well, I wasn't even producing that stuff. I was
I mean, but you were 15 years old at Death
I
Row
was like
Studios.
Keyboard player,
Yeah,
session musician.
Yeah.
But then when I started producing, it was of course all the Brandy stuff, Drew Hill.
The Brandy was on Brandy's first album. It was Keith and Kenny, and then it was you. So y'all split.
No, the
a lot
first
of those
album
songs?
it was Keith. Keith did most of it. Kenny did a song too. I was in the band. Her second album, I didn't get on. Her third album, Full Moon, that's when I got on. But I was in her band that whole time. But at the same time,
But Full Moon was how old were you when Full Moon hit?
that was 2001.
Oh, okay.
So I was probably 24.
So what were your
25.
hits that you had landed before?
Yeah, How Deep Is
You
Your
got
Love?
married.
Drew Hill was my first one. How Deep Is Your Love featuring Redman. When I Close My Eyes by Shanice was a big hit out here. And then I did pretty much a whole album with Kelly Price for Def Jam
Oh wow, I forgot about that
back
album.
then. And it was a bunch of other stuff, movie soundtracks and stuff like that. And also, before I got married, I signed Mary to my label. And we did Shackles and all that. I was
So Shackles
23
was
when I
even
did that.
before you got
That
married.
was before we got married.
And Shackles was one of those songs like I remember when we were kids, the first crossover song that was really, really hot in our era were the Clark Sisters, You Brought the Sunshine.
Yeah.
Because they played that You Brought the Sunshine not only in the churches, but a lot of churches didn't want to play it because they were playing it in the streets and on KJLH and other radio stations. And
Yep.
Shackles was one of those songs like Kurt Franklin had. What Stomp was just before that, or just
Stomp was
after
before that.
So Stomp,
Yeah.
but the answer to I don't want to say the answer, but the follow up to Stomp was
Yeah.
kind of like the follow up to his song was Shackles.
We came right behind him, and it's one of them things where, we started at urban and mainstream radio. We didn't start at gospel radio. The first person to play that song, actually, it's crazy how it works out. Now, he is the owner of Gamma and Nvidia, some big, huge labels. Larry Jackson was at KMEL in San Francisco.
Oh wow!
And he was a PD there. He's an MD or program director. He might have been 18, 19 years old. I don't know how old he was. He was young.
Oh wow!
He found the record and blew it up because gospel wouldn't touch it.
No, gospel wouldn't touch it because
No.
it was too.
It was too radical. So we took the girls to the Culture Convention. They sung the song, and it was great. But people still radio people were like, we don't know.
It's kind of risky.
What is this?
But they say it's only impossible that somebody does it. Like y'all had to pull it off.
As soon as all the urban, back then, all the urban stations start playing, the rap stations playing it, then gospel says, oh no, they belong to us, they gospel, and then they start playing it. That's been their whole career. Like gospel music or gospel radio never really played Mary Mary first. It's always R&B. They were still to this day, like the #1 R&B group
Yeah.
that's still making records.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I should say still. They ain't made a record in 11 years.
Wow, it's been that long?
Probably maybe 12 by now, yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to convey was before you guys really met, before you guys united, you guys had success in your own right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the power was bringing it together. It's like they say, Wonder Twins activate. Then
Yeah.
once you activate it, it was this. But, going back to that thought, because I think a lot of people can be blessed from the fact that you said you really didn't understand the power of the ministry aspect of your relationship until you almost lost it.
I didn't understand who she was to me. Like,
Explain that,
I'll say it this way. As a man, I am my wife and my family's covering, right? I do a lot of things in the house and in the home, and I provide a certain thing that they all recognize. I was not recognizing that in her. She was just my girl that I came home to when I came home. You know what I'm saying? But when I realized and I almost lost her, and I was in this dark place where I'm like, man, I don't have my covering. She covers me. And during the whole time we were going through it, like basically what happened was I went outside the marriage, had some other females I was fooling with.
You never know value until what you value is in jeopardy.
It's in jeopardy, man.
And when it's in jeopardy, it automatically shows you. Because a lot of times we take it for granted because it's always been there. And it's something that it's what it is. It's going to always be there. But then when you feel the potential that it could be gone.
Man, listen, and this is before I had my second. This is when my daughter's 21 now. She wasn't even 1 year old yet. So this is what was happening. She was like 2-3 months old, whatever. So it was one of them things where, man, my wife could have blew me up, but she covered me. She didn't want to get in the media and talk about it. She was like, nah. She told me like this. She said, I'm mad, but I'm not leaving. Because I went and told her what was going on. Because I just said, man, I got to tell. We were such good friends that I felt like if I told her, she might not leave me. But I did not want her to hear that from nobody else. And I felt like at any moment it was going to pop and she was going to hear it in the streets.
How much agony did you go in? Because
I had to take a flight to go find her first.
Sometimes the truth is harder than, like they say, what's my favorite movie in Baby Boy, Tyrese said, I lie to you because I care about your feelings, but I tell all these other chicks the truth because I don't care about them. And for me, the hardest thing in a relationship is actually being honest.
Man, it's hard to do, but when you are faced with...
But when you're in that pickle between doing it or not doing it,
Listen, I knew I had to, but I felt like she was going to find out. Because it started leaking here and there. I'm like, she got to hear this from me. She was on the road. I got on the plane and flew all the way to South Carolina. The whole plane right there, I was like, that's a long...
I can't eat, baby. I can't sleep, baby.
I was like, I got to tell her. I got to just man up and say, hey, this is what I had going on. Whoop. Told her everything. And the first thing she said, and that it was in the dark. Because we sleep. I get to her, the lights is off, we in the bed. I said, I got to tell you something. And she told me how mad she was and all that, but she said, I'm not leaving. But it was a long process back. We were, did the whole therapy thing and all that. But in the process, I'm going, watching how she handled it, informed me of who she was for real, to me, to my life, the covering, the fragrance of my house, the personality, the spirit of my home. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me this. Do you think what you didn't see, the devil saw, and he was trying to break it up before it got to where it is?
Before it got to where we are now as pastor and first lady of the California Worship Center.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, my bishop said, man, listen, when I because I went to him about it, he said, when I first heard about that, I said, the devil is a liar. He said, because I saw this coming.
The devil is a liar.
I was like, okay. And so she knew that. She goes like this. She says, I knew who God said you were. He said, you were the one. You were my husband. So I just, as mad as I was, I stood on that. And you were not what you did.
And the beautiful thing about it, the thing that I think about you guys' union, and I didn't mean to do the whole show on relationships and this, but the thing that I saw with your union was a lot of marriages have come and go. And I just think the beauty of your relationship is it's withstood the time. And regardless of the things that transpired in both of your lives, and sometimes even success can be something that can potentially, bring couples to odds. But I just think the beautiful thing about your relationship is you guys were so successful working together and in your marriage. But now going into ministry, I think, man, it's like, man, they talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce. To me, I don't know Jay-Z and Beyonce, but I know Warren and Erica, and they my Jay-Z and Beyonce in my world. Because, man, there's a cold power couple, man, and just the lives that you guys, even that song, The Shackles, man, just think about the lives that your gift, your united gift have touched so many different people's lives, man, that you couldn't even count it.
And then we're unaware about it as well,
Oh,
which is
man.
also a gift, because when you become aware of yourself, then you try to manipulate the gift. Now I know what I have, who I am. So me and her specifically have tried our best to remain unaware. Like what people say to me, give me accolades, it doesn't change who I am. So my thing is like, okay, if you love me, cool. If you hate me, cool. It's not going to change what I do.
I am who I am.
I am who I am. I'm going to do what I do.
And who was it? It was Julius Caesar that whenever he went to war, he would, when he came back, he would pay somebody when the crowd was cheering at him and they were saying how great he was.
They'd be in his ear.
And he'd be in his ear and he'd pay him like, you're just a man.
Yep.
You're just mortal. You're just a man. And he wanted someone to keep him as ground. And I think in your relationships, the both of you all serve as each other's ground.
We definitely are that for each other.
So look, tell me this, like pivoting from that, like at the next chapter in your life, like you've accomplished so much by the time that, you're in your 40s, like you accomplished so much. What was it where did the calling come from? Like what made you, like, sometimes I know the responsibilities of a pastor, and I'm a pastor's kid. You're a son of ministers, and you got a religious family. What was the calling or the tug that you decided that you were going to start one of the most powerful churches in Los Angeles to date is Cali Worship Center? And the thing about Warren's church that's different than others is in our city, you had the changing of arms to where you had the older pastors that sort of laid the law. Like it was my grandfather, it was Bishop McMurray, it was Uncle Carl.
Yeah.
These churches that have been established and been in LA for up to 80 to 100 years that have existed. And those were the churches that we pulled from. But now all these ministers that have these older churches they passed and they've gone to glory, and, the churches are continuing. But Warren is a part of this new era of preachers that they're cool. They're not so heaven bound that they know earthly good. They're identifiable, they're accessible, and they're relatable. But where did the pivot come from?
I believe it was always there, but when God calls you, He calls you from eternity. He's everlasting.
Oh, that's deep, boy. That's a word right there.
So the call was there, but it's
Did it get louder?
It got much louder, and it was coming from different places, voices that like when I was about 21, my mother would always be like, "You gonna be a preacher?" I said, "Mom, I'm gonna do a lot of things in my life, but preaching ain't one of them."
I mean, but Warren, the only thing I say about that, man, is preaching has different. Every preacher isn't a pastor.
No.
Some ministries are.
I certainly didn't think I was a pastor.
Erica has a ministry of song. Erica has a ministry of encouraging and motivating, and so do you. But to assume the responsibility of saying you want to start a church, it's a different ministry. Because I believe in my life, my parents, everybody would say, "Oh, you got a call and you got this," but I believe that I utilize my calling every day because I want to inspire people that anybody that comes in contact with me leaves differently than where they came.
And that's your pulpit.
That's my pulpit.
And so I'm just saying that the call was around me, and I was ignoring it, running from it, ignoring it, running from it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I preached my first message when I was 12 years old, and it was so horrible. I said, I'm never doing that again. And then I preached again when I was 16. It was a little better. I preached a couple times at my dad's church. My dad was pastor.
And it just was nerves. Well,
it was bad.
And putting it together, yeah.
Let me tell you something. And I asked my parents this to this day. I'm like, why didn't y'all help me? I was sitting there in the living room playing Tecmo Bowl, playing Nintendo. Boom. And I hear my mom. She said, "Oh yeah, Lil Warryn, he'll do it." And my mom was always.
Oh, man.
She always had me doing stuff. That's why I say anytime I seen my mother talking to your mother, I was like, man, what did they got me about? I'm about to join some club or something. Like every time. So she hanged the phone. I said, Mom, what's going on? She said, oh, you preaching at the youth service next Sunday. I'm like, preaching? I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. And so it was. And
but were your parents like my parents? My parents were. My father was a Sunday school superintendent. My mother was an educator. So if they heard that I was preacher, they gone. Boy, you get one of these Sunday school lessons and get in there and try to figure out what your thought gonna be. Don't get up there and embarrass me.
None of that.
Oh, your mama didn't say don't get up there and embarrass me?
Didn't help me do nothing. Just I was like, Mama, I don't know what are you talking about? My dad at the time is working 7 days a week. So
he's exhausted by the time he get home.
He's trying to figure out what he preaching Sunday because he got to preach every Sunday. At our church. So.
Oh, but Uncle Warren was preaching every Sunday at the Lewis's church.
No.
Church.
No, Right Church. No. My
Church.
dad started his own church. My dad was pastor. Yeah, my dad
know Uncle Warren started his own church because.
Yeah.
So when you were playing at Clifton Edwards Church, the daddy's church.
Yeah.
When you were there, but y'all were going there, and then your father left there and started his own church.
No, my dad was pastoring then.
Oh, he was pastoring then. But where was your church at?
Our church, we started at the Airport Park Hotel in Inglewood. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And then we moved from there we was in hotels with a mobile church.
See, I didn't know Uncle Warren was the pastor of his own. I thought y'all were going to that church first.
No, we was at King's Chapel our whole life.
Yeah.
And then my dad started his own church. And then Sunday nights, because we didn't have a night service, I was playing at different churches. So I would be at Gospel of Christ, I'd be at Emmanuel Temple, I'd be, all over the place. So
how did the door open that you said, how was Cali Worship Center born?
Cali Worship Center was born like this. One, anybody that knows me, I will think of names, business names, group names, and I will buy a domain for it.
Oh, and just own the domain.
Yeah, just because I do it all the time. One day, years ago, I'm talking about 15, 18 years ago, I thought of the California Worship Center. I was like, that's a dope name. And I bought the domain. I'm not preaching yet or nothing. I just bought it. Fast forward, I know that I'm being called. And I'm like, oh man, it's wearing me out. So I said, you know what? The call is just getting louder in my spirit. So I have breakfast with my bishop. He says, okay, I want you to join the ministry classes. It's a 2-year program. I said, 2 years? Oh, that's cool. 2 years, I can
give you enough time to get it together.
Figure out, yeah,
get your rhythm.
I'm in that program 3 months. One day, I'm out hanging with the bishop's son. We out smoking cigars, right? I drop him out.
Preachers smoke cigars?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That's why I'm saying he cool. See?
Yeah. So we out kicking it, and I drop him off back at home. I said, let me go use the bathroom. And I'm leaving the bathroom, about to go back out. My bishop is running down. He said he had his bathrobe on. He's running down. Warren, wait a minute. I said, hey, Bishop. He said, listen, this is December. He said, get yourself together because next month we're licensing you. I said, I only been in the program like 3 months. He said, no. Dr. Steve, who runs the program,
you got it.
Dr. Steve Johnson says, no, you got it. We got all females. We need a male. He said, you're it. I'm thinking my stomach just like, oh my God, starts flipping because I'm like, I'm going to have to start preaching because I don't know how to do none of this, right? He said, no, nothing like that. So they licensed me that January or February, whatever it was. Matter of fact, I won a Grammy that day. I went to the Grammys.
Wow.
Won my Grammy and went back to church and got licensed that day, right?
Oh, wow.
And so.
What a story.
It's crazy. And so my first duty, I'm thinking I have to preach. I said, no, you ain't going to do nothing like that. They put the robe on me, collar, everything, go work in the parking lot. So that was cool. I was like, okay, I can do that. And then somebody hit me and said,
go work in the parking lot.
Yeah, I was in the parking lot.
You got ordained and they put you in the parking lot.
Put me in the parking lot.
Oh, I love that.
With my robe on.
I love that.
On Easter Sunday, they said, listen, we got to turn away a lot of people. We need ministers out there to minister to these people because, this is traditionally a missionary Baptist church. So these people will be out there cussing.
Yeah, ready to
they
fight.
Mad.
Like,
we need somebody to handle it. I was like, all right. So we out there doing that. And then 2 months later, they said, now you got to preach your trial sermon. I was like, oh, my God.
That's what you've been trying to avoid.
Trying to avoid getting up there and having to preach. I don't want to do that. This man is one of the greatest pulpiteers
Oh
to
yeah,
ever do it.
yeah.
So I
He
don't.
paints pictures to where
Oh
I
man.
think he and Jake's they the king of the painting portraits. So you
Nobody
walk
tells a
through the
story
museum.
like Bishop Kenneth Omer, man. You
Yeah.
just so I do that. I do my trial sermon. He ain't there, thank God. The next morning,
How did the trial sermon go?
man, I don't remember. I don't think it went well. I think it was all right. You know, it was whatever. But he was encouraging because he wasn't there. But the next morning, I was at this men's breakfast. He showed up. He stopped. He was walking past. He said, "Yeah, I listened to the. I saw the DVD from last night or something like that." He said, "Great job. You stayed on track." I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I got a headache immediately.
I mean, it's your first one,
My
so
first one. So fast forward, there was this lady that went to our church named Jackie Horton. Every Sunday, Jackie be like, you should do a Bible study for like the industry, like, you know, entertainment people. I'm like, I ain't doing it. I don't even know enough Bible yet. I'm in seminary at the time. I started going to King's College and Seminary, Jack Hayford School, right?
okay.
Which Bishop Omer was the chancellor.
Yeah.
Or the
I
president.
thought he was at Biola. I thought
He does
Bishop-
Biola too.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm getting great instruction there. It's amazing. So I also went to Enon for a minute.
Yeah, you know that's the PW, the home team.
Yeah.
My mother started but it was the place that when you just beginning, and it's gonna get you ready to go to that next spot.
We went. I was there for.
Depending on what teacher you had. Like I had Dean Jackson, who was incredible.
I didn't have Dean
She
Jackson.
taught Old Testament survey, and it was one of the most powerful. She took you through the holies of holies and the tabernacle.
Yeah.
One of the
I
most
still got the
powerful
book.
experiences.
I still got my Old Testament survey book, but I didn't have Dean Jackson. I had somebody else. I quit because I was like, I quickly realized this dude was mispronouncing people's names. So I was like,
hey man, we're not going to those people that might want to go to Enon. We're not saying the public service announcement. Enon's not a bad school. They have changed, and it's a different school. Yeah, Enon is still in existence, and they're going strong.
Okay, all right, okay.
But so how was the?
so fast forward, man. I ended up doing this Bible study. Start the Bible study.
Who did you invite to the Bible study? Were you scared to invite like your celebrity friends?
I put it on Instagram.
Oh, you put it on Instagram.
Bible study, first Fridays, every first Friday.
And where'd you have it at? Location?
At a hotel
That
in North Hollywood. Beverly Garden Hotel.
Beverly Garden, yeah, I remember that.
First one, 80 people showed up. No music, no nothing. Just
but do you think the 80 people showed up because it was you and Erica doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. They was like that and curiosity, like, what is he doing?
But you were the youth pastor at Faithful Central for a few years.
No, I wasn't a youth pastor. I was just I was played in the band, and I was on the licensed ministers.
Oh,
ministry.
I thought you were like when Kurt Franklin was over there as a youth pastor. And
He was a youth pastor.
I thought you were a youth pastor at the church.
I wasn't none of that. I was
wow. You were just a minister playing at the youth church.
Yeah, I didn't even play at the youth church. I
played the regular church.
I just played the regular church, and I wasn't there all the time. Like this is the time when I would like still have my I wake up on a Sunday morning and go like, yeah, I'm not going to church today.
Welcome to my world, there.
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm just like, not because I had nothing to do. I just like, yeah,
I'm gonna watch the game, and now it makes it so easy when you can just watch it on television. You can be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go watch the live stream, be on about my day.
I gave on my app, but so I did the Bible study for a year, and I'm doing a christening for my two youngest at my house. With this whole little celebration, my bishop comes. I got a picture of this moment when he's sitting down.
And he came to your house.
Come to my house with his robe on and everything. He christened my two youngest. They're babies at the time. And so it's a picture of me sitting down, him sitting down across from me, and my dad standing right over us. His son is a photographer, so he takes this picture. And in that moment, he's asking me, how's the Bible study going? I said, it's going. How many people showing up? I said, it's about 80 people. He said, you do know, and this is what what we captured in this picture. You do know that the average church size in America is about 70 to 80 people. I was like, okay. Wow. I said, what that? He says, we got to think about the next steps. That's exactly. He said, we got to think about the next steps. I was like, Bishop, I ain't doing that. Like, I don't know how to preach. Like, I was declining because of who I am and my name and all that. I was getting invitations from everywhere to come preach all over. I'm telling you, the moment people found out that I was preaching,
Yeah.
I declined every last one of them. All of them. Every big name preacher called me and was like, "We want you to come preach for our youth." I'm like, "Nope,
So what was it?
I ain't coming."
But with all of this, what was your Jonah experience to where you realized you couldn't run anymore?
It was 2008. I was diagnosed with kidney cancer on a Friday.
I remember that.
And I remember the whole story is crazy. I was diagnosed with kidney cancer on a Friday, cancer free the next Friday. Right? So in the interim, they went in and took my kidney out. Had the butterfly, the tumor was this big. I don't know how long it had been there. Cancer's on the inside of it. They took it out. So I have one kidney now.
What discomfort were you having when that happened?
I wasn't having no discomfort. I went to the bathroom one time and blood came out. I didn't feel nothing. And so because I was vegan at the time, I had a chef. We had hired a chef for a whole year at our house. It was a vegan chef. We ate all vegan food. And my body was so clean. My doctor that caught it, he says, "Man, I've never caught it like that." He said, "This is a silent killer." He said, "You would have just dropped dead. We wouldn't know what was wrong with you till we opened you up for the autopsy."
God, man.
So I'm gonna tell you what he said. It's crazy.
God.
So he goes, so blood came out, and I called my wife. She was downstairs. I said, "E, come upstairs." And she had just gave me this cranberry juice that was kind of unfiltered, no sugar in it,
preservative.
nothing in it. It was nasty. I drunk it. She was like, "It was probably because you just drank that cranberry juice." I said, "Oh," and I didn't think nothing of it.
But the blessing is you was innocent. You hadn't been doing nothing because it could have been a sign that you was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You was doing something wrong.
Right. Nah, I was in no pain though.
Oh,
I didn't feel nothing.
No discomfort.
Nah,
It just was.
and it didn't
you
happen
passed
again.
blood. Oh, it never happened again.
It didn't happen again.
Because sometimes with that, people will say it's a kidney stone. Or not, what is it, gallstone? You passed a
Kidney
kidney
stone.
stone.
So,
Because I know Gerald just had a situation.
yeah. So now check this out. 3 weeks later,
It happened again?
it happened again. I'm out hanging with some friends, doing whatever, and then I get home about 3 a.m, and it happened again. This time it wasn't red blood; it was like darker color. But I didn't feel nothing. I was like, "Oh." So the next day I go to my doctor, who is a Muslim guy. He says, "Okay, so he's thinking it's kidney stones." He says, "Well, the pain from 1 to 10, what is it?" I'm like, "Ain't no pain." He said, "No pain?" His eyes got big as golf balls, man. He says, "We need to go get you a CT scan right now, CAT scan right now. I'm afraid something's going on with your kidneys." So we go around the corner, get the scan. Sure enough, mass on my kidney this big. Sends me over to a guy named Dr. Daniel Cosgrove, who is a urologist. He says, "Yeah, we see it. We can do surgery." He says, "We don't do laparoscopic. We do the nephrectomy. Cut it." He says, "But my father, Dr. Malcolm Cosgrove, we'll do it together." My father did the first one in Germany, the first 30 years ago, the first nephrectomy. I was like, "Okay." I said, "Yeah, give me the scar." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want that scar.
Yeah.
So we do the surgery on a Thursday. So we found out Friday. Thursday we do the surgery. Friday they take it out. Done with, right? Check this out. I go back to my doctor for a post-op thing, and he tells me, "Man, listen, that's a silent killer. You could have been dropped dead. We wouldn't know what's going on with you." He says, "But check this out. You can't say this to a guy that's been raised in church." He said, "It's a good thing you bled, because without the blood, man, we wouldn't know what's going on." He said, "The blood saved your life." He said, "The blood saved your life." I was like, "Ah." He don't know who I am,
and he doesn't know how it resonates. But I believe in situations like that, God speaks to you, man. And he uses vessels to speak to you, where this man didn't know what he was saying, but he knew how you needed that word at that time, to where now you will be talking about it today.
In the hospital. I said to God, I said, "Man, you do not have to get my attention this way. I'll say yes. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll preach. Whatever you say, I'm going to do it."
And that was your Jonah moment. Your Jonah moment was when you went through that.
And I was in and out of consciousness because they were shooting me with Dilaudid and had it going in my IV. I didn't know where I was, but when I woke up, there was a notebook this thick of people who had been to see me, and they all wrote me notes. I still to this day have not been able to read the whole thing
Oh, I love that.
because I can't
man.
get through. I get too emotional. It's sitting in my room somewhere. I'm like,
I love that.
and so I'm talking about people. When I was leaving, they was like, "Who are you?" You had like 300 people come through here. I was like, "What?" I don't remember. I remember a couple people coming through, but I wasn't there.
I love that, man.
But yeah, it was a crazy
And
thing.
that's
But
how Cali Worship Center was
that's
born.
how we started,
from
man.
out of there. And wrapping this our pod up. What is Warren's? What is your trajectory for what's next? Like what's next in your life? I know the church, and I know the family, but what is your next?
Yesterday, I'm always on a quest to find what my next thing is. Like now, it's not what I want to do. It's like, man, God, what is my purpose? And I'm working on something. Like I freed up a lot of my time.
But in that, like people that are listening to this, people always say they ask God, so what is their purpose? How do you identify when God is speaking to you and it's not yourself?
I'm gonna tell you. So like I freed up a lot of my time because what I did was last year I had a meeting with my staff at the church. I said I'm going to give you guys all of my messages, all 52 for 2026. I'm gonna give them to you now. It frees up my time, right? Now I ain't worried about what I'm preaching this week. Y'all, everybody, the whole staff knows, the praise team, the choir, the band, the children, the teen leaders. Everybody knows where we are theologically the entire year. So now I said the Holy Spirit works ahead of time. So should we. So
you sat down and took some time off and you wrote out all your
everything.
sermons for the year. But it's not the full sermons.
Full sermon.
Oh, you wrote the full sermon up.
Full sermon manuscripts. Got the whole year done.
Oh wow.
My staff has title, scripture, and a paragraph.
So the
synopsis of everything.
screens, the choir, everybody
Done.
knows. Oh, that's beautiful.
So 2026 is all about 2027. That's all we're planning. So yesterday, I was like, God, what's my next thing? And so what am I? So I'm 5 sermons into 2027 already. So I'm going, okay. So I start working on this thing about
But
purpose.
is it a game time decision though? Whereas you get up there and the Spirit leads you a different direction. Do you make an audible or you just modify the sermon to talk to the day?
Let me tell you what I do know. When I said God called me from eternity, He knew before the foundation of the world what the people needed to hear on Sunday.
That's rich. That's rich.
So if I'm preparing on Thursday, I say, God, what do you want me to tell these people on Sunday? He knows.
That's
so I can say, God, what do you want me to tell these people all year? You say, here you go.
That's rich.
Me and my father got into this theological debate because he said, man, God would change my message, change the message at the pulpit. I'm like, no, he didn't. He been knowing what those people needed to hear. You didn't hear it. You changed. You got them. Was like, your mind, you was clogged up.
But I believe God deals with people in different ways. So I don't believe your father's wrong and I don't believe you're right. I believe God ministers to people as an individual. So the way he gave it to John the Baptist wasn't the way that Jesus got it.
I'm just saying, if God knows what they need here,
yeah.
I know you need bread.
Yeah.
And you come up to them, no, they need cheese. All the time you talking about cheese, and then you're confronted. Now you're at the pulpit, and you're stripped of all of your. You're torn, and now you're at the moment, and now you can hear you're going like, God, what to say? He says bread. He been saying bread. See what I'm saying? He's known what they needed for forever.
Yeah.
We just didn't know.
Okay, I get that.
So you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, he said, I'm God, I change not. I know what's going on.
I get that.
So
when you were sitting the other day and it told you about your
purpose, I started thinking about the things that I'm angry about, the things that anger me, the things that I get upset about, the things that really prick my heart. Those things reveal what I'm supposed to be doing. Those things reveal what I'm ordained to go and fix.
So what were those things?
I started really getting upset, man, about these people being hungry. Hunger. Oh my God! I did
like homelessness and
not just homelessness, but like you got homelessness and you got people that are just hungry.
Yeah.
I visited the Bahamas a few years back, and
you stayed at Balmar or you stayed at the.
You know that one everybody stay at.
Yeah, the SLS, that Balmar. SLS.
No, it's called
Atlantis.
Atlantis. There you go.
Okay.
The Board of Tourism, they paid for everything, brought us there. All we had to do was like tweet, or post something about it every day. tour guide is showing us all this stuff. She says, "Yeah, Bahama has zero hunger." I said, "Wait, what? Zero hunger?" And then she starts pointing out along the street fruit trees, bananas, avocados, apricots, apples. People all
They could just
can
always
eat.
eat
They
from
can always
there.
eat. And
Yeah.
it made me remember how when I was a kid we had fruit trees, and the local government came and took all them fruit trees down because of greed. We had pomegranate trees on the
I
street.
remember
Remember
that.
all that?
I remember. But remember when we were kids, there was the fruit flies or something that they started having fruit fly problems, and all of a sudden the trees start disappearing.
I don't know. I don't know if that was the case, but I'm just saying like they were gone. They're
Right.
nowhere now, and so. And I start thinking about that and just the hunger problem that we are now dealing with. And then now with, the threatening of people taking their, they're taking their EBT cards and all that.
And the Lord put it on your spirit to deal with hunger.
Yeah. I said, God, give me a bag. If you give me a bag, I promise you.
And it's funny, hunger in the physical and hunger in the spiritual.
Yeah.
So you feeding both of them. Then
He
what
said,
does the
feed
scripture say?
my
If you,
sheep.
what did Jesus say? If you love me,
Feed my sheep, man. And I'm like, listen, I'll prepare the biggest kitchen. Everybody come eat. And
what are you doing? Do we need to talk to the mayor? Does the mayor need to hear this so that
This was
we can
just
get with the
yesterday.
mayor?
This
oh yeah,
just
well, it's
happened
something we need to get with Kareem Webb. We need to get with the
Come on,
mayor,
Kareem.
and we need to work on how we could help you execute your vision.
The mayor, she's been in my church. I've recently just met Mayor Butts in Inglewood. I don't know. I'm listen. I'm gonna talk to everybody.
I think it should
I'm
be.
gonna go as high as I can go, and figure out how much money we need. Like we talking about Elon Musk. He's getting ready to be the world's first trillionaire.
Yeah, a trillionaire. I never even heard that. That's
You know what
crazy.
I'm saying? A man being a trillionaire, not a country,
Yeah.
which means he has the resources to end world hunger by himself and still not be affected financially.
You're right.
Is
You're
he
right.
gonna do it? I
Even
guarantee he's not.
Even Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers. I
Yeah.
mean, they're in positions to where they could really help make a huge difference.
There's a problem here. There's a problem, man. Like,
And no one should be hungry. If
Nobody should be
anything, like
hungry.
I understand you might not have the things that you want, but they shouldn't be hungry.
Hungry?
Yeah.
Can't eat? Nah, man.
All right, so in our conclusion, man, I want to leave my brother Warryn, you the pastor, you my little big brother. I want you to tell me. I want you to end with a word, and I want you to end with just a 2-minute word on something that it'll be the last word that we'll hear on this podcast. But it's just a word of encouragement because it's a lot of people going through all types of devastation, and their hearts are heavy. And I want you to just give them a word, just a 2-minute word that tells them something inspirational that'll help them out of whatever maze they found themselves in.
I think it's, man, you use the word devastation. I let me put it this way. When we find ourselves devastated by something, do you ever take the time to thank God for what you feel, even when what you feel is devastating? Because there's somebody who can't feel devastation because they're not alive anymore. They're not here to feel the devastation. You're not here to feel the hurt. You're not here to feel any pain. You're dead. God, thank you for allowing me to feel something because I can actually do something with what I feel. I can turn the devastation into in the hurt and the pain. I can turn that pain into purpose. And so my encouragement is always the devastation that I'm going through right now will reveal who I'm supposed to be later.
That's rich.
When I get through it and I look back and I say what I learned out of that devastation fueled what I'm doing in my future.
It pushed me.
It pushed me and it propelled me into my purpose and my destiny. Everything that I went through, we talked about a lot of it. I'm able to now preach and teach and encourage and influence people who are going through what I went through and come out of.
And the Lord delivered you to help them.
From health scares, relationship scares, almost losing my family, being rich and then broke and then rich and then broke, money things, enduring through a marriage to where this year, May 26th, we're gonna celebrate 25 years. We've been devastated to purpose. If I was gonna tag this message, I would call it devastated into
To
purpose.
Well, you're in the EKG line. When you're in the hospital, the EKG line is up and down. Whereas if it's a flat line, that means you're not here no more.
You're not here no more. So if you're gonna tag this message, call it devastated into destiny.
All right. Well, that's the last word. I said he's going to be the last word. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. I look forward to many more. God bless you, brother.